Work is progressing on reconstructing the St. Jude Hospital, a major priority project for the Philip J. Pierre administration. In his 2024 budget rebuttal speech, the Prime Minister provided updates and vowed the reconstruction would continue moving ahead. Pierre said 4 buildings currently under construction at the hospital site will be finished this summer.
That is what's happening at St. Jude, Mr. Speaker, as we speak, Mr. Speaker. And I'm assured that the 4 buildings, Mr. Speaker, that the work is happening now, Mr. Speaker, will be completed before July this year, Mr. Speaker. 4 buildings.
The Prime Minister also showed the published tender documents for the full St. Jude reconstruction project. While those 4 buildings didn't have a public tender due to being mid-construction, the Prime Minister said the remainder of the reconstruction project was publicly tendered.
I brought for you the tender documents, Mr. Speaker, for the St. Jude Hospital. I brought for you the tender document, Mr. Speaker. So when people say that misinformation, and here it goes, Mr. Speaker, tender document for procurement of works, procurement of St. Jude Hospital reconstruction project, employer, Ministry of Department of Economic Development, on behalf of the government of St. Lucia, country St. Lucia, source of funds, SFD, Saudi Fund for Development, issued on January the 5th. That is the tender document for the works, Mr. Speaker. The other one, Mr. Speaker, is the tender document for the consultants. Project St. Jude Reconstruction, Mr. Speaker, issued on 5th January 2024. So, Mr. Speaker, these are the 2 tender documents, public tender for St. Jude Hospital, the 2 documents, Mr. Speaker. So, when I want to make it clear, Mr. Speaker, that the idea that the work at St. Jude on the remainder of the buildings are not being tendered for, Mr. Speaker, is absolutely false. The work on the current buildings, Mr. Speaker, did not go out in public tender because of where the work was at the moment, where the work was at the time, Mr. Speaker. So it was easier, it was more convenient, Mr. Speaker, to have an internal assessment, an internal evaluation, and then a contract was awarded for the work on the 4 buildings. But the remainder of the work, Mr. Speaker, it went out for public tender, Mr. Speaker.
The decades-old St. Jude Hospital is a long-troubled facility requiring extensive rebuilding work at what was supposed to be its temporary home, the George Odlum Stadium. The sports venue will have to be rebuilt once the hospital is relocated to the properly reconstructed medical complex. $2.5 million has been allocated in the 2024 budget for preparatory works. Both the St. Jude Hospital and George Odlum projects are included in a US $75 million Saudi-backed loan.
So they make a big fuss. Oh, $2.5 million, $2 million for consultancies, and $500,000. I mean, Mr. Speaker, that level of baseless, don't want to say the word I want to say. Mr. Speaker, the $2 million is for the consultancy work on the stadium, Mr. Speaker, and it's for supervision of the construction work. So it was uploaded at the front of the contract because there is no cost yet for the contract. So you have to have the consultants to evaluate the tenders, etc., to go to the tenders board, Mr. Speaker. So you have to have the consultancy first. And the $500,000 is to start the work of demolishing, cleaning, and clearing the site, Mr. Speaker, for construction.
The Pierre government has made completing the reconstruction a top priority, aiming to provide a modernized public hospital for St. Lucians. Joachim de Plessis, HTS News Force.